Hi everybody, welcome back. Again, my name is Angelica Fernand and I'm one of the students in Bryce's coaching program. In the previous video, we went over section 1, which was about QuickBooks Online Solutions, and today we're going to be going over section 2, which is the client onboarding process. So what is client onboarding? Well, it deals with the process of meeting and bringing on new clients. And if you remember in the last video, we had the new client checklist that we got from the QuickBooks Online Solutions first section. So those processes that we will go over with the with onboarding is importing new client information, setting up vendors, clients, apps, bank feeds, etc. And then for new businesses that are new to QuickBooks Online, we would need to get their chart of accounts organized to their needs, as well as import any new QuickBooks Desktop or Excel information into their new account. So I'm going to show you real quick on this checklist here what we would do as far as the onboarding process goes. So how to use this checklist. So this is going to provide you with a checklist of each step through the onboarding process, all the way from meeting with the client to actually getting all of their information into QuickBooks. So you meet with their new client and sign the contract. That's the first step that you want to take. Gather new client data and documents. You want to get, like I said, their entity information, especially whenever you're setting up their QuickBooks, and this is the first time that you're ever setting up a QuickBooks setup. You want to get their legal entity. You want to get their name, phone number, address, email. Those are the main things that you really want to get to set up their QuickBooks Online information. But more importantly, you want to get other documents from them, such as bank statements, lists of clients, lists of vendors, so on and so forth. So those are the type of data and documents you really want to start getting. And then create that new QuickBooks Online subscription. And remember, in the first one, we talked about how to recommend the actual QuickBooks Online subscription. That way they get all the features that they need out of that subscription. And then we would set up that client company's information. So like I said, whenever you first start off, there's going to be a sheet that, or a page that pops up that asks, first off, what is the legal entity type? And then from there, the bank or the company name, address, phone number, and email address. So you'll want to set that up, and included in that, you're going to want to get their bank feeds set up. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But you want to import their list. So like I said, if they already have a list they've been using of their clients, of customers, vendors, estimates, invoicing, stuff like that, we can import those lists in through QuickBooks. If they have a payroll program that they need to get set up through QuickBooks, we need to set that up as well. Customize any sales template, so we want to make sure that their invoices, their estimates, their statements, everything is customized so that it has their actual business logo on there, so there's no confusion as to who their clients are getting their information from. Connecting any app. So we talked about this in the last video. Connecting Square, Amazon Business, PayPal, Stripe, so on and so forth. Can't think of any other ones right now at the moment, but those are the main ones. Connecting QuickBooks Payments. So this is a feature that is highly recommended. At least I recommend it. I use it within my own business. But whenever your client sends out an invoice to their client, basically your client will be able to get paid directly from that invoice. So that's how the QuickBooks payments would be set up, and a very good feature that I recommend. And then we have connect bank feeds. So like I was mentioning, as soon as we get the QuickBooks Online subscription set up, we need to connect the bank feeds. All they have to do is going into their banking tab, and then they get to sign in. They pick the actual company, like bank institution, and then you would need their user login and password, and then they can sign in, pick whichever account they choose, checking, savings, all of the above, and then that would automatically be transferred into QuickBooks and then updated pretty much every single day throughout QuickBooks from that bank feed. And then we would want to train them for long-term success. So we want to show them how to set up invoices, how to set up estimates, how to pay their vendors, how to organize transactions if you're unavailable. All of those things are very important to do. And then set up repeating projects. So going over how to, like I said, set up reconciliations, categorize certain things. And then all of this additional tasks, mileage tracking, and so on and so forth. So this is very good in like the actual onboarding for your clients. So I would really suggest using this whenever you're getting everything set up, because there are so many steps that it can be hard to remember what needs to be done. And whenever you first meet with a client, it's very important to have these steps in place. That way you don't seem like you don't know what you're doing. Whenever you're actually having the consultation with your client and they agree to sign up with you right then and there, it's good to refer back to this and go, okay, well, these are the steps that we're going to take, which is going to be, getting your data and documents, creating your QuickBooks Online subscription, setting up your company information if you have any lists. And it's going to be a process. Your clients need to realize that just because you're taking over their books doesn't mean that they can be hands-free from it, especially in the big, it may end up like that a little bit later, whereas you can help them. But starting off, they're going to have to be a little involved. They're going to have to provide you with those statements. They're going to have to provide you with their business information. They're going to have to provide you with so many things, and it's going to take up a little bit of their time. So it's best to warn your client, look, this may take a little bit of time to actually get this set up, but once it's set up, you will have such good peace of mind. And actually, let me show you guys real quick here my Google Forms. Let me do that real fast. Okay, so I have this form here that I did with Google Forms, and this is great to use whenever you are trying to set up a client first off, or if you just went through the consultation and you just need to have the information on hand. Usually whenever they sign up with me, I still have them fill this out. That way I always know, and then if we have to refer back to it later, we can. But I have them enter in their first, last name, company name, email, phone number, address. What can you tell me about your business? What is the entity? How many transactions, accounts, loans, inventory? What type of software do you use? Do you prepare invoices? Do you have a system in place to pay your bills? Tax returns, do you report sales tax? How often do you file sales tax if that is what they do? How often would they like their financial reports viewed? Do you have plans to scale back or expand? And then these are just some other ones that I use in there whenever I'm doing the consultation, just so that I know for myself what they expect out of me as a bookkeeper. Do you expect me to, keep in contact with any third-party members? And then, let's see, when they would like me to start. But most of these information here, like sales tax, invoicing, inventory, loans, how many accounts they have, all this is real good and beneficial in setting up that information so that way, whenever it comes time to move forward, you will at least have that as a reference point. Whenever you're setting up their QuickBooks Online, you can go, okay, well, they do sales tax, so I know that I need to get from them the cities that they have to file sales tax in. If they're filing in, just state sales tax, what information do you need to get from them? It's a good baseline to get that information from them. Hopefully I'm not just repeating myself and sound crazy. All right, so next we're going to talk about, in section 2, the chart of accounts. The chart of accounts is a specific account set up for that business that belongs to that. So there's different accounts / categories. So this QuickBooks gives you a good example here. So I'm just going to kind of show you from here. So it's saying that this person is a sole proprietor, no employees, no corporate tax, and he deals with job-related expenses. So he has 2 material accounts in his chart of accounts: job material purchases for reimbursable expenses on billable jobs, and materials and supplies overhead for categorizing other non-customer related purchases. So let me get this a little bigger so you guys can see. This is what the chart of accounts would look like to you. So you would see in here the bank account. This means that it's linked. their savings that they would add in, accounts receivable, inventory, asset, so on and so forth. Why is this being so ridiculous with me? Okay, well, I guess we can't see it that well. Anyway, through here, you can see some of the accounts they have. Now, compared to another company, sample client B, they are a real estate investment company. So they have a chart of accounts that shows these companies as a fixed asset. Right here, the rental home and the mortgages. And you can see the other long-term liabilities they have in there. So this is the difference in the chart of accounts. So when you get down to bookkeeping for companies, the root of all bookkeeping is pretty much the same, except when it comes down to these chart of accounts and the specific chart of accounts that your company needs. So that is another reason why it's so important to ask questions of what their needs are. And there might be accounts that are already defaulted into QuickBooks that need to be inactivated because your client may not ever use those. So that is just a little bit about the chart of accounts on that. All right, so further in the lesson on section 2, it's going to go over how to set up products and services, customers, vendors, and bank feeds. So I'm going to show you how to do all of that in this sample client. Again, this is one of my actual clients. They have this account set up, but they haven't done anything with it yet. This is just a preemptive. They have it set up so that way whenever they actually start making money in their business, they can start using this account. Anywho, if we are going to set up products and services, you would go over here to the left-hand side. This is what it looks like inside the client view. So you'll see dashboard, banking, invoicing, cash flow, expenses, payroll, time, reports, taxes, mileage, accounting, my accountant, and insurance. We are going to go to invoicing, and we're going to go down to products and services. Now we get to add a product or service. This gives us options here to choose between non-inventory, so products that you buy or sell but don't need to track quantities of, services that you provide, for example, landscaping, tax preparation, painting, yada yada, a bundle, a collection of products and or services that you sell together, for example, a gift basket of fruit, cheese, and wine. So most cases it's going to be non-inventory or service. I will show you how this is set up. So non-inventory, we're going to put this as school supplies. Category, we get to choose what category we'd like this under. Supplies. Sorry. All right, and then we have the sales price here, which we can leave it blank if the price is going to change every time, but if we're going to make income off of it and it's going to be consistent, then we could put it in there, I don't know, $5, and then we can choose which income account we'd like it to go into. So we can have it sales of product, services, or uncategorized. I'm going to do sales of product, save and close. I'm not going to save it though. But then if we wanted to do a service, it's pretty much the same thing. So this is homeschooling service. So I don't know, just homeschooling. Again, we can choose a category and then we can choose what that rate is and put the income account to services. Save and close. Now I'm going to actually put this on here. $6.50. So we have these ones that were already randomly entered in here, hours and services, and then I have homeschooling. Now we're going to enter in a customer, and I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. So you can either go to new and actually no, this is wrong. Go to invoicing. Customers, you can also actually grab it from up here, customers. And you can import a list of customers or add a customer manually. So then we would put in all their information. I'm going to put practice. You could put in their email if you'd like to, but that's pretty much going to be what I'm going to put for their information right now. And it's as easy as that. But you can see there's all kinds of different things that you could put in there. When it comes to adding a customer, you can put in like their payment information. That way they can just automatically get paid all the time. And then we can also enter in vendors. So that's actually going to be in this expenses. So we enter in vendors. Again, we can import a list of vendors or we can add one manually. So I know that I am actually going to be a vendor for them because I am someone that they're going to be paying. So I'm going to put myself in there. Math Magician Bookkeeping. And we'll enter all that information in later because I don't want y'all to see all of my information. You can put in my address. And then we could even track my payments for 1099. So if I really wanted to, I could put in my social security number, and then that would have it set up where at the end of the year they could send me a 1099. Billing rate per hour, and then all of this information here. So I'm just going to click save for now. There you go. And then we have bank feeds, which we'll get to here. So now we're going to set up bank feeds. So if we go over here to banking, we can connect an account. So then it will ask what type of bank. And then once you click on that bank, it will then ask the login information and the password, and then it will be connected and everything will pull through here. So let me actually go to my actual personal account and show you what that looks like. All right, so through here you can actually see the account pop up that is linked. It was updated 12 hours ago. You can see how many transactions there are to review. You come down here, these are the transactions to review. There's some rules that are already applied to here, but that is how you set up your bank feeds. So I hope this was able to give you a little bit of insight into how to get through Section 2 of the QuickBooks Online certification, and I'll see you in the next video.